Hello everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. Welcome to day one of our spring break craft along. This time around we're using 2 bundles, Ocean Friends and Year of Flowers. And you might think those don't really go together. Well, they don't, but our thoughts were, what would you do during spring break? You might go to the beach, which is why we chose Ocean Friends, or you might do what I'm doing and work in your yard, get flowers planted, get your yard ready for spring and summer. So we decided to go with those 2. Now, if you purchased the Craft Along kit with me, you hopefully have gotten it in the mail. It looks like this. You've got your pack of cardstock and designer series paper. We're using Friends of Ocean and Timeless Plaid. You've got your die cuts and a fun little bag of embellishments. We are using the neutral matte dots and the party dots. Actually, no, dots for days, okay? So also the new white ribbon and the peach pie ribbon. If you did not get the Craft Along kit with me, that's okay. You can use whatever you have at home. Hopefully you will craft along. We're doing techniques each day as well, which means hopefully I'll teach you something new. If you bought the kit, I emailed you the PDF for all the projects on Friday. And today I emailed you the technique cards. We're going to make a technique card for each new technique that we learn so that you will have a reference for them to use in the future. Now, if you didn't buy the kit, the PDF and technique cards will be free for anybody who spends $50 with me this week. You have a whole week to shop. You can buy anything you want. You might see something I'm using this week that you want. And if you order and it's over $50, I'll send you the PDF and the technique cards for free. If you are not going to shop with me and you still want the PDF and the technique cards, they are available in my PDF store for $20. So make sure you check them out. There's a link on today's blog post for that, as well as a link for ordering if you want to go shopping. This is a craft along, which means I don't have all the pieces cut necessarily ready to go. That's part of the fun. We're going to do it together. I do have the die cuts done, the die cuts that are not a part of these 2 bundles. I have those done. And today we're going to need the 2 large crumb cake everyday arches. And then you're going to need, there's some tiny white ones. I believe there are 4. Today you need all 4 of them, okay? There we go. Or 3, depending on whatever you want to do. All right. Now, let's dive in to see what paper we need. I'm going to pull open my PDF. For the card, we're going to need crumb cake ink, or crumb cake cardstock. Let's see. I think we're going to need 1. This might not be the right. Yeah, this is right. I don't think I put enough crumb cake in my own kit. All right, I'm going to go pull that out. We're going to need crumb cake and basic white, and then we're going to need Timeless Plaid. And I think I'm going to change it up and use a different paper. I'm going to try to be different. I'm not real good at doing things differently than what's shown in the example, but I'm going to try to do that. All right, let's use the green. The green is pretty. All right, and then let's do this one also, because we're going to need that for the second project. Speaking of the second project, let's look at that PDF and see what else we need. I'm crafting right along with you guys. Let's see if I can get the pages switched over. All right, we need crumb cake cardstock, basic white. I probably need to get 2 pieces of basic white and the Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper as well. All right, for the card, we're gonna start off with a half sheet of cardstock. So you're just gonna cut that at 5 1/2 and score it at 4 1/4. Now, I'm always worried I'm going to use my cutting blade instead of my scoring blade, so I have to be sorry. I have to be careful. I don't want to be sorry. All right, then you need a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we need another piece that is 4 1/2. Let's do the 4 1/2 inch side first. 4.5 by 3 1/4. Right. Oh my goodness, I'm all thumbs this morning. 3 1/4. And we need to score this one on the short side just at 1/2 inch. Okay. We need a basic white piece that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Well, that's for the die cutting, which we've already done. Our Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. We need 2 1/4 by 4. So let's do 2 1/4 by 4. And a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. Let's see, that is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's for our card. Then for the box, I'm really excited about this box. I love it. All right, we need a 6 by 5 1/2 inch piece. So let's do 5 1/2 by 6. And it says we need to score it on the 6-inch side at 1 1/4 and 4 3/4. And then we're going to turn it and score the 5 1/2 inch side at 2 1/8. Now 2 1/8, if you're looking on your trimmer, is the second little line right there. And then 3 3/8, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little lines. Oops, I'm doing it on the wrong side. 3 3/8 right there. There we go. All right, so this is what your piece looks like. All right. There we go. We've got that. All right, we need, we do need another die cut, the Countryside Corners label. And we need another scrap of basic white for our flowers. So I'll just cut off a piece for that. And a piece of plaid, Timeless Plaid, that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. All right, I'm going to set aside the pieces for the box because we're going to do that second. Let me get all of this out of here and we'll get started on our card. Now, our technique, you know, another thing that you need to cut is a piece for your technique card. This piece is, I believe, 4 by 4. Our technique cards, we made them 4 by 6 to fit into the 4 by 6 flip flaps. I don't have them with me. I have all the flip flaps except that size, but this will fit in there, and then you can adhere them into like an album and they will flip. Okay. And then you can refer to them. So you want to cut an additional 4 by 4 piece to create your faux suede. Okay. All right, let's do the faux suede first. We're going to take, all right, to create the faux suede, what we're going to do is take our 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of crumb cake, and we're going to really break it down. We're going to crumble it up, and this is going to take some time. Just be patient. You want to crumble it, get it softened, and then you're going to get your bone folder, and we are going to break it down even more. Now be careful as you go. Mine's torn a little bit. That's okay. That's part of the look. But just take your bone folder and start just kind of working it as you go. You'll know that it's ready when you start to see the corners split. Okay, and it does take some elbow grease. So I'm just going to continue to play around with this until I see that the two halves are beginning to separate. You can crumble it up again. Got a little tear there, so I want to be careful. All right, let's see. Are we starting to separate? We are, I believe, yes. All right, now hopefully you guys can see this in the video. You're going to take the two corners, and carefully start peeling them apart. Now it's not going to be perfect, okay? You're going to have some pieces that tear and some that come apart thicker than others, but that's okay. This is all part of the technique. All right, so then I'm going to come over here and start working on this side. Just continue to peel off until you feel like you have that kind of soft edge of your paper. Now mine's going to be on both sides. I can see the suede, the soft suede on both sides. So just keep playing with it until you get it to where you think it looks pretty soft like suede. And I think mine looks pretty good. Which side do I like better? I have that kind of rough edge on both sides. So I'm going to decide which part has more of it. And you can continue to peel off some of that as you go. We're going to get a blending brush next and add some color to it just to kind of accentuate those little rough pieces. Okay, I think I've got it done enough. Let's throw this away and grab my grid paper and my blending brush. Now remember, you've made your paper very thin. This is the word I'm looking for. You've made it very thin, so you're gonna have to go easy on this. So get your crumb cake ink and just kind of add a little bit to the top to accentuate that suede look. So yeah, I'm not even gonna re-ink my blending brush because I want it to be very light. All right, so there is your faux suede. Now, if you're gonna do the technique cards, do a second one so that you can put it on your technique card as a reference. All right, now take your card base and we're gonna put this down on our card front. If you're using Stamp and Seal, I would put it on the card front itself and not on this paper because it's probably gonna tear it because it's so fragile and thin now. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? I actually really like when it tears like that. I think it gives it extra legitimacy as, you know, some kind of old suede. All right, now take this piece right here and we're going to actually adhere that inside so that it's going to fold over the front of our card like that. All right, so let's put some adhesive on that flap. And I'm gonna center it here and then set it down like that so that it's glued down on the inside in here. And we're gonna take our designer series paper and cover that up like that. Okay, and then we're gonna take that other piece of designer series paper and put that one right in the center like that. So it opens up like that. Okay, so here's the original. You can see it has different color designer series paper. All right, now get your arches, your everyday arches. And I can see that one of mine has an edge on the bottom that needs to be trimmed off. Now I've got a couple of tips for you for this bundle. This bundle has a lot of dies and they all look very similar. So I took some time to match them up with whatever flowers they go with. And I put a piece of white paper down on my magnet sheet and I got the flowers in order of their months. And I traced them with a pen and I wrote the month. So if I'm gonna use December, I can go right to number 12. And I know that that goes with December, okay? That will help you. The first couple of times I used this, I was struggling trying to find the dies. They were all over the place. They all look similar. So take some time to get them organized and it will make your crafting experience much easier. Now, the beauty of this is to personalize your card. So this card I'm gonna make for my mom and I am going to use the flowers, the flowers of the birth months of her grandkids, okay? So you can personalize these to make them, you know, mean something, be something significant to whoever you're giving them to. So I'm going to do December for my oldest. I'm going to do March for my middle daughter. I'm going to do August for my nephew. Let's see, which one is August? Did I not pull August out? Well, oh, you know what? No, let's do September for me. Sorry, Jack. We're leaving you off. I originally did it for Jack. All right, and then November for my youngest. Jack is my nephew, my mom's other grandchild. There we go. All right, now get your Stampin' Blends and color these however you want. I'm gonna start with Peach Pie Light. Now we're not using the dies this time. We are gonna use the dies for the next project. When you use the dies, you then lose the month, which you can then stamp the month, stamp the stamp down on wherever you're going to pop that up. And, you know, well, that's kind of hard to explain. If I was going to die cut this, I would stamp it on a separate piece of paper, color it, die cut it, then stamp it on here and take the die cut and glue it onto that, like pop it up so that you could still see that month, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to use blue here for September's flower. I don't even know the names of these flowers. I really should, but I don't. Color that in with some dark. We'll take Daffodil Delight for our daffodil. And we'll put some daffodil in the center, put some like that. And then we've got December, we'll use real red. Let's use light. I believe this is a poinsettia, but I'm not 100% sure. All right, now take your old olive light and let's color in the leaves. This looks like a morning glory. Is that right? I really need to research these flowers. Every time I use a stamp set that has flowers, I'm left standing here saying, I'm not sure what these flowers are, just because I do not really know flowers very well. Now we're gonna tie this around before we put this on, but let's take a look at the inside. Did I cut the other piece of basic white? I don't think that I did. We need a little piece of white. I'm gonna do 3 by 4. Let's see. I've made a giant mess already this morning here on my desk. I like this sentiment. I hope you're hoping your day is gosh, I haven't had coffee or any caffeine this morning, so I am on the struggle bus. Hope your day blooms with happiness. All right, so let's stamp that. Do I have that? I do. I'm going to do that in pecan pie. Hoping your day blooms with happiness. All right, so then we'll bring this over and we're going to put this in the middle. Right there. And we're going to fold that down and this up. Grab your white ribbon. Goodness. And we're going to tie it closed. Like that. And then we'll grab our dimensionals. And we're going to put these on here. So let's move that bow over. And you want to put the dimensional so that you're sandwiching that ribbon, okay? So we'll put March. December. I'm going to kind of do them up and down and kind of leaning. September. And November. Like that. And then we'll grab our neutral dots. And I'm just going to kind of sporadically, let's get our take your pick tool. That's going to make this easier. Well, goodness me, I am struggling this morning. All right, one more. There we go. All right, there's your first card, your fun fold. All right, on to our next project. We're gonna make this fun little Everyday Arches box. We need to score these 2 arches. These are the largest arches in the die set, and we're gonna score them 1 1/4 from the bottom. Okay, so there's 1. And then we'll get the other one here. There we go. Okay, so burnish those like that and like that. Now remember, we've scored this piece already. So burnish your lines, which I did with my hands. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut the score lines here on, whoops, I did that not straight, on the long, nope, on the short side. Okay. All right, now get your glue and put glue on the squares first. Fold the side up into that square like that. All right, and then we're going to put glue here, and we're going to wrap that around and kind of give it a hug. Okay. Now I like to use my clothespins, my little clothespins, to hold that closed while it dries. Now we're going to take this part, put some glue there, and set that down in there. Got to get it nice and straight. Okay. And then I'm going to put some glue there and fold that up. You could leave that if you wanted to open up, but I want to glue it closed. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing here. Take that, set that down right there, get it nice and straight, and then fold that up. Okay, and we're going to, let's put an ink pad in here to hold it flat. Let's do it like that, so the sides glue straight. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's stamp on our scrap paper. We're going to stamp 3 of the flowers. This time we're going to cut them out. I've got May. I'm going to do the daisy. That's April. And then the, which looks like a mum. Okay. Also pull out, I forgot to pull the Countryside Corners white label out of my little die cut bag. So make sure you get that. And then we're going to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to do it in Calypso Coral. Actually, well, yeah, you know, I'm thinking I was going to use that other Designer Series paper. So maybe I should use a different color. Let's switch that. Let's switch that over to a blue. Because I'm changing. No, you know what? I think I do want to just use that Designer Series paper. I really like it because then I can use those dots too. That looks so good with it. Okay, color your flowers. I like May's flowers. I don't know what those are, but I like them. Just dot that color right in there, dot, dot, dot. Then our daisy, we're gonna do yellow, so a light daffodil delight. I'm gonna do the middle peach pie. And then I'm gonna use Calypso Coral for my little chrysanthemum. And you can go back with your dark and add in some dark wherever you see those lines. Add in your dark. Okay, get your old olive. Let's see, I guess I should do the bottom part with Calypso Coral. All right, let's go back to Calypso Coral. Like that on the bottom. Oh yeah, like that. All right, get your cut and emboss machine. And if you've gotten your dies organized, it's gonna make it a whole lot easier. We know May is the 5th month, so that's number 5. April is the 4th month, that's number 4. And January is number 1. All right, let's see if I can get all of these on here at the same time. Wiggle them so that they're straight at the top and the bottom. All right, put them back on your die sheet in the right order. I'll do that later, so you guys don't have to wait for me. And then we'll get our dimensionals. This box is a really easy box. It's a good one. If you need to make something quick or if you need to make a lot of something, the box came together really fast. You could customize the flowers. Maybe if this was like a bridal, you know, like a party favor for a bridal shower, you could use the flowers for the bride and groom, their months. That would be cute. And then the third one could be the flower that they're getting married. That would be fun. Or if it's a baby shower, you could do 3 of the same flower the month that the baby is going to be born. It's just really neat, I think, that you can customize and then it's really meaningful. All right, make a bow. Put that there. I'm going to bring back my designer series paper and I'm going to pull out that Calypso Coral. I told you guys I have such a hard time straying from the plan. You know, if somebody has a sample and shows it using one paper or one color, then I really have such a hard time straying from that plan. All right, so we did 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. That paper that I chose would be great for a baby shower. And it would go with that, but no, I want to use the little Flirty Flamingo dots because I like those. So I'm going to stick with this one. Oh, I did it the wrong size, you guys. See, you guys are probably going to mess up too. Don't worry, it's okay. We sent you extra paper. You should have enough even if you mess up. 2 1/4. What did we say? 3 3/4? Looks like 3 1/2. Is that right? Let's look at our notes. That's why we have a PDF. Let's see. Timeless Plaid. It does say 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And actually it says 2 pieces. One for the back and one for the front, but we're just going to do one since I've made you stand here and watch me cut all this paper over and over again. All right, here's our box. And we're going to put on our designer series paper. Ooh, I like the back side. We'll put that right there. And then we're going to get this. And we're going to overlap that top edge like that. Isn't that cute? And now we're going to use our dots for days. I guess I could have used these pool party dots if I was going with the blues. I don't know. Whichever you decide. You can use the neutral dots. You could use something else, whatever you want. Okay, you guys, there you have it. There are our 2 projects for today. Our first one used the Faux Suede technique, and they both use these beautiful Year of Flowers bundle. Now remember, the PDF is available in my PDF store for $20. It comes with the technique cards. Or you can earn it for free by shopping with me this week. Anybody who spends over $50 will earn it for free. I'll email them out next week. Order anything that you want. It doesn't matter what you order. I'll still send it to you for free. All right, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow with 2 new projects and a whitewash watercolor technique. All right, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.